Good afternoon and welcome to my hobby bench one more time. So today I got a couple of things in the mail which are kind of interesting. One of them will be the topic of this video. The other one will be the topic of probably several other videos coming. And that latter one was 3 more issues of RC Modeler magazine that I specifically hand-picked from this one Top-Down Collectibles, I think it was, the eBay vendor. And I hand-picked these particular ones for several reasons. They were affordably priced and they had articles in there that I really wanted specifically, and reviews and that type of thing. So we'll be seeing more of those in the future. And still, I haven't even gone through all the RC Modeler magazines I had before. So anyway, to the nuts and bolts of this video. And this title of this video is the Trade OS Wankel For. On the table you're going to see what I traded the OS Wankel for. So let me open this up here. This comes from a wonderful man who has given me several incredible engines, and as far as I'm concerned, he just gave me another incredible engine, because I hardly really think that the Wankel was a fair trade for this. But if Keith, if you're happy with the trade, then I am happy with the trade. So let's just dig right in here and see what this is. I'm going to pull it out off to the side here real quick and put this on here, and I'm actually going to take it out of the bag first. There are other things in the bag, but this is what I got in trade for the OS Wankel engine. This is unbelievable. Now, this is, for those who may not know, this is a Saito FA 200 Ti. Now, I have run an engine like this on my channel before, and there are several videos of it. And that was another friend's video or engine. This one is actually mine now. And I keep looking up here at the LCD screen to make sure I'm not moving it out of frame. This is incredible. As far as I know, this engine has never been run. Now, as you saw, it didn't come with the original Saito box, but who cares? This is basically the 200 Ti is, I believe, is 250s. 200. No. So this, I was just reading the review article on it, 50s. That's the 100 Ti. These are actually two 91S jugs that have a longer stroke to equal 200. And the reason they did that was because the 91 castings just so happen to have porting on both sides. At least that's what the Clarence Lee article said. I don't ever recall that, but apparently that's what the Clarence Lee article said. So let's look and see what else is in this box. Now, it also, Keith also was so gracious to send me 4 glow plugs, because this is it's a dual plug engine. And the only issue that I very well could have is actually getting the plug installed in the front port, because honestly I don't know if my yeah, see, that's a problem. I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with that problem yet. So when you have these dual plug engines, And it was like that on the Saito 80T, the original one. I think that Saito 80T came with a special wrench, a very thin-walled glow plug wrench. And unless you can find an incredibly thin-walled glow plug wrench, which I no longer have, you really can't get that plug installed in here. So I do not have a thin-walled glow plug wrench to install these front plugs, which kind of sucks because I'm not going to be able to turn it over and feel the compression and all that kind of stuff. I mean, sure, I can use a piece of fuel tubing and at least get a plug threaded in there, but I'm not actually going to be able to tighten it down, which is unfortunate. So this is kind of interesting too. Look at here. Remember how I'm always talking about how I have a special L shape, or my hex wrench, that I have cut down? Well, here they finally figured out, oh geez, you know, we made these engines and it's really hard to get a wrench in there. So they've got that cut down on that. This is very interesting. They have it cut down on the front cylinder, but not on the rear cylinder. Now the rear cylinder has a little bit of relieving, circular relieving for that, but this one is, now I'm wondering, so when I had the 200 Ti and the 100 Ti several years ago, I never noticed that. So I'm wondering if that's just something that I completely didn't see. I'll have to go back and review those videos and see, or because this had a very limited production run. As far as I can tell, the closest I can tell that this came out, released to production, was 2005. And I don't think that they lasted very long. In fact, Clarence Lee even said something about that. He said something about the main crankcase housing was a sand cast. Or investment cast. I don't know. I'm not a machine. I'm not a tooling person. But he said it was one of these ones that is only made for temporary or short production runs. So they didn't invest in the tooling, the expensive tooling, to make it a standard casting. So, wow, that's just incredible. I'm just kind of awestruck here. I'm really trying to figure out where I can try to go to find a really thin wall, really thin wall 5/16 nut driver so I can put the plugs in this front thing. Anyway, let's get back to what else is in this bag here. So we have, looks like a Saito fuel filter. Doesn't say, yeah, it looks like that's what that is, a Saito fuel filter. And then 2 exhausts for the 182. So I recall this from when, I think it was Brandon had sent me his 200 Ti 3 or 4 years ago, and he had sent it to me with flex exhaust, and then he went and purchased these exact exhausts, and I installed those on there, and I think it sounded a lot better, and of course it looked a lot cooler. But I mean, I'm just kind of awestruck right now thinking that this is actually my engine. So I'm going to be looking for 2 things here now, and I already have been in the last day or so since I knew that this was going to happen. I'm going to be looking for an empty 200 Saito 200 Ti box. You know, sometimes these eBay sellers just sell empty boxes. So I'm going to look for a 200 Ti box because I'd really like to have the original box to put this in, to store it in, just for safety reasons. And one of these really thin-walled wrenches. So if anybody knows where I can potentially get a really, really thin wall glow plug wrench, let me know, and that would be wonderful. So anyway, this is what I traded that OS Wankel for, and man, it's just, Keith, you're just an amazing man, and thank you very much for this. I'm just kind of awestruck right now at the beauty of this, because I remember when I ran this thing several years ago, the sound of these engines is just incredible. I mean, it ranks right up there with the 240 or the 320 Pegasus engines. I mean, they're probably number one. This was probably number two in sound, followed by number three, which would be the Enya VT240. Those are probably the top three coolest sounding engines in the world, glow engines. So anyway, that is what I got in trade for that Wankel engine. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and thank you very much again, Keith, for your generosity and kindness, and have a wonderful day.